In 1932, the country of Australia declared war on birds. That is not a metaphor. That is not a headline from a satire site. The Australian military deployed soldiers, machine guns, and 10,000 rounds of ammunition against large, flightless birds. And the birds won. This is oops history. True stories that sound fake. Today, the Great Emu War. Let's set the scene. Western Australia, 1932. The Great Depression is crushing the planet, and the government has a plan. They take thousands of veterans from World War I and give them cheap farmland in the middle of nowhere to grow wheat. The deal is simple. You survived the worst war in human history. Now here's a patch of dust. Good luck. Then wheat prices collapse. The government, which had promised subsidies, delivers approximately nothing. So by October 1932, you have thousands of angry, trained ex-soldiers standing in failing wheat fields holding their last functioning nerve. And that is exactly when 20,000 emus showed up. Quick emu briefing. An emu is a bird that stands up to 6 feet tall, weighs as much as a large dog, and runs at 50 kilometers per hour. It cannot fly, but it doesn't need to. It has dinosaur legs, a periscope neck, and the general energy of a velociraptor that ate a feather duvet. Every year after breeding season, emus migrate toward the coast. And in 1932, mid-migration, they discovered something wonderful. Humans had planted an all-you-can-eat wheat buffet directly across their route. 20,000 emus looked at the struggling farms of Western Australia and said, "Free lunch." They ate the wheat, they trampled the crops, they smashed the fences which then let rabbits in, which in Australia is its own apocalypse. We will get to Australia's rabbit situation another day. This country has a complicated relationship with animals. The farmers, remember, were veterans. So when they went to the government for help, they didn't ask for pest control. They asked for machine guns. Specifically, they asked for Lewis guns, the light machine gun many of them had used in the war. And the Minister of Defense, Sir George Pearce, said yes. His reasoning was honestly incredible. He thought the birds would be easy targets. He thought it would be good practice for the gunners. He thought it would generate positive press. And he even arranged for a cameraman to come along and film the glorious victory. Remember that cameraman. His footage does not age the way anyone hoped. Command of the operation went to Major G.P.W. Meredith of the Royal Australian Artillery, leading a crack force of 2 soldiers, 2 Lewis guns, 10,000 rounds of ammunition against 20,000 emus. That is 1 bullet for every 2 birds, which sounds fine if you assume emus stand still, which, spoiler, they do not. November 2nd, 1932, the first battle, near the town of Campion, the troops spot about 50 emus. They set up the guns, and immediately, problem 1, the emus are out of range. So they ask local farmers to herd the emus toward the machine guns. The emus did not cooperate. Instead of clustering into one convenient target, they split into small groups and sprinted in every direction at once. After a full day of combat, the army had spent a pile of ammunition and killed roughly a dozen birds, out of 20,000. November 4th, Meredith gets smart. He sets up an ambush at a local dam where over 1,000 emus are heading to drink. The birds walk into range, the gunners open fire, they take down about 12 emus, and then the gun jams. 1,000 emus turn around and stroll off into the sunset while 2 soldiers slap a broken machine gun. So the military tried vehicle warfare. They mounted a machine gun on a truck and chased the emus cross-country. 2 problems. 1, emus can outrun a 1930s truck on rough ground. 2, the ride was so violently bumpy that the gunner could not hit anything. The truck's greatest achievement was crashing through a fence. And I want to zoom out for a second because the timing makes this even better. In 1932, the world was in full crisis mode. Roosevelt was campaigning against the Depression. Germany was about to make historically the worst hiring decision of all time. Serious things were happening everywhere, and in the middle of all that, Australian newspapers were running military correspondence about bird tactics, and the international press picked it up. The London papers got to write with a straight face that the Australian army had been repelled by emus. Britain never let them forget it, and here is where Major Meredith, a professional military officer, starts talking about emus the way you'd talk about an elite enemy force. Real quote, If we had a military division with the bullet-carrying capacity of these birds, it would face any army in the world. They can face machine guns with the invulnerability of tanks. He also reported that each pack seemed to have its own leader, a big,